they were going to have to pull me off the mountain. I would have stayed out there till midnight trying to do it.
How are you feeling? You won. It seemed like a long road. How are you guys feeling this morning?
Whoever said money can't buy happiness, I woke up pretty happy this morning, so.
Fair.
Yeah, my mom bought me a bottle of champagne last night, so that's how happy we were. We're still over here celebrating. She's excited, and as long as I can see my family happy, I'm good.
Yeah, how's Kiki doing?
She's amazing. She's ecstatic. She can't wait to hopefully get the opportunity to talk to TJ. So maybe we might get a FaceTime or something going on because we're all friends now.
Yeah, she was like another cast member almost.
Yeah. She enjoyed it. She enjoyed it.
So let's dive into the finale. Obviously, there's a lot of mixed feelings on social media. A lot happened. First of all, what was your guys' reaction, and when did you learn that so many people had quit?
Right. So, like I said, I get up to the top and no one's out there. And I've seen like the shows before where like TJ's out there and all the other castmates are like, yeah, good job, and I'm waiting for the pity clap, like as I cross the finish line. And I'm like, dude, like they all went home. They're already back in the States. Like that's how far behind I am. But I get into this, they take me into this room where Danny was warming up and Danny's the only one in there. And so I still don't know that I won and that it's just me and Danny. And I'm like, hey, Danny, I'm like, where is everybody? And he's like, oh, I was the first one up here. And I go, oh. And so I'm like, is there other like rooms around here like that they're in? And like people in the room are like shaking their head like, no. And we're not putting it together. Like that's how, we're like in beginning stages of hypothermia and like we don't get it. And they're looking at us like, come on, you guys. And finally I'm like, wait, are we the only ones? And they're like, I'll never forget our reactions. We were just like, no way. Danny's naked in a sleeping bag, like trying to jump up. Like it was good.
Yeah, same here. We realized it at the same time. It was very surprising, but good for us. Good for us. More money in the pot.
Yeah, it seemed that Sudoku really tripped people up. Danny, I know you said you had experience with that. Sarah, had you done Sudoku before?
Yeah, I mean, I'm older, so I grew up with newspapers and there's Sudoku.
You're not that old, but.
So yeah, I mean, I've done the daily Sudoku in the newspaper before and so I knew what I was doing.
Were you, I guess, who surprised you the most? I'm assuming maybe it's Tyson. Like, did you guys understand what had happened? When did you guys, I guess, catch up? Or were you watching it last night, like putting the pieces together?
Well, when I was at the top and I'm like, once they said everybody quit, I'm like, not Tyson. And they're like, no, yeah, Tyson quit. I'm like, no, he didn't. Tyson wouldn't quit. And so, yeah, I didn't understand it until, we were done and I talked to him and we got the story from everybody.
Yeah, I was super surprised at Tyson just because we all know what type of competitor he is. He's a ultra endurance athlete. So I had just assumed that no matter what, that he was going to finish it. But then when you look back at it, you realize how cold it was. You see him having no gloves on, and you know how difficult Sudoku is. To where if you get one piece wrong, you got to start the whole puzzle over. So now you got to process. Hey man, I might be up here another 35, 45 minutes. Can I take that cold, or is it worth it? And it just wasn't worth it to some people.
Yeah, and I want to talk about some of the inconsistencies, at least from a viewer, with the timing out situation. I mean, I think Justine timed out on something. Sarah, you might have. I know Angela couldn't with the digging, and then it seemed like the Sudoku you couldn't. So did you guys feel like that too, confused by where the rules were, or did you think it was?
Okay, like for example, I don't think there was a confusion with the timing out. At least I wasn't confused. Like after the swim, I mean, Dom and Angela didn't complete that puzzle and they were done because they were last. So, like they technically timed out of that, I guess. And then, Kayla finishes the next one, then Justine times out on hers. As far as like Angela not timing out on the overnight one, the sign says you have to unlock these bags to continue to the next leg. And so if you don't move all your dirt and get the code, you can't unlock the bags. Therefore, how would you move to the next leg? So, I mean, the rules were written right there. And then when I was on my puzzle that I like timed out of, it didn't say there's a timeout, but I wasn't going to quit. They were going to have to pull me off the mountain. I would have stayed out there till midnight trying to do it. Now, like Danny just touched on up there at the Sudoku, I'm sure there was a timeout, but they stopped doing it. The difference was I never stopped doing my puzzle. I get to a time, I mean, I could have been there 2 hours before I got timed out. So to say that there wasn't a timeout on Sudoku, I mean, they had all quit before I even got there. So they weren't there that long. But they made the choice to stop. Production didn't say you're done.
And I thought it was pretty clear. I think just watching past seasons, it's the not quitting part, right? Long as you're like giving some type of effort, they're going to keep pushing you to continue to go forward. If you have the opportunity, then you'll be able to move on. So I think where Angela went wrong was she didn't really give it a shot versus where everybody else that timed out, they were still attempting to do the puzzle or try to finish that leg of it. So then that's why they were able to move
Tyson
on.
says, I have to do the whole thing over. F that. Well, F that it can be translated to, I'm done, I quit.
Yeah.
Angela goes in the tent and her words were, I quit. Like, so, I'm sure Kayla wanted to quit or opt out on the eating and just take last, but she didn't, she couldn't. I'm sure Enzo and Desi wish they could have just opted out of the swimming and took last. Like, that's not an option,
Yeah, let's talk about Enzo and Desi. What were your thoughts on that? And were you guys really feeling for Desi? Because it seemed, I didn't love that rule that she, I don't know. How would you guys feel about it? And Sarah, what would you have done if that was your partner?
Right. So going in, like, that was why I immediately was like, good, I don't have a partner that can screw me. Because I've seen the challenge before and I've seen that happen to people. You have to get across with your partner. That's why getting to the end with people who are, like Danny, like I love Cash but Danny's right. Like, Cash isn't a great swimmer. And so when him and Desi threw Cash in the elimination with me, that's a great move on Danny's part because I'm not saying Cash wouldn't have finished the swim, but Danny could have been Desi in that scenario. And so he makes the strategic right move. Yeah,
it sucked for Desi. And the thing is, they tried to get Enzo out because they were worried about that exact thing happening. He just ended up beating David. So it kind of cost her. But like Sarah said, we've seen this happen. I think it was Casey and Fessy at the eating portion. Like, if you don't finish with your partner, then you're disqualified. So it's not new to the Challenge USA. This happens on the Challenge all the time. So this is not a new rule. This is how the game goes. And sometimes it just happens that way. But super sad for Desi because she was, one of my closest allies in the game. And I think she deserved to run that entire final or have the opportunity to.
Yeah, so future player, and that's just it. Like, I don't know if people have never watched the show, and I know a lot of the viewers are possibly new to it, but the players should have been familiar with it and known better. And so I guess my best advice to anyone playing is make sure you've got people going to that final who you want to go to that final, because that could be your downfall.
Are you guys, if you're in the World Championship, anything you would do differently in your game, in your preparation, in your, anything like that?
I swim more. I plan on swimming more. I want to be able to use my energy the correct way so I'm not dead tired after I'm done.
Fair. Sarah?
Yeah, swimming, getting familiar with some other puzzles. Beyond that, I work out pretty regularly, so I feel good.